welcome to this video. Now under this particular part we are starting with analyzing of the data set, right? Now what is a data set? Data set is nothing but a set of comparable data which is placed together in a table or say matrix, and that's where the arm's length price has been written, right? And further analysis on that particular arm's length price is undertaken. So there are certain provisions under the act also which provides guidance on selection of the data set, that is for which year the data set needs to be for which year the data has to be taken, and appropriately the data set has to be prepared. Now we usually you usually keep saying on comparable data set, so that is where it contains all the data about the comparable transactions. Now I'll just share my screen to start this session on this analysis of comparable data set. I'm just sharing my screen. So now friends, let me just start before getting into the provisions. Let me just start by saying by showing you that how the data set looks under various methods, right? Now the first portion is that how comparable data set looks under the RPM and TNMM, right? So this is the data set under RPM and TNMM will look like this way. So there will be a name of the company, that is comparable entity, which we have which we need to which we would have selected basis our analysis. Then there will be a list of these names. Then for each year we would have computed the operating margin, right? It could be an operating cost, operating revenue, or whatever base it may be. We are going to discuss that how to select the base also in the coming video. So guys, as you can see that there is also weighted average operating margin is computed. We'll be understanding that entire computation during the practical aspects which we read in the subsequent parts. So guys, this is how a data set will look under the RPM and TNMM. In case if you have also seen the reports where the transaction has been benchmarked with the TNMM, you must have seen this type of data sets, right? I'll just move ahead to the next part. So how comparable data set looks under cup. Now let me just show you this. Now under cup, the data set will not look like like it was in RPM or TNMM, because it's a different method and the different provisions drive the computation of ALP, right? So under cup, if you see, if there's a uncomparable transactions for product A, right, details of products sold, then the cup would have a data set. The cup data set would look like this type. Like it will have a name of party, then it may not have, basis on requirements and necessity, the locations, CIF, FOB terms, FOB rate. So these are certain things if it is required, you can put that in your data set. If it is not required, it's fine not to put that in the data set. Then quantity in units and the average sale rate per unit. So that's a arm's length price, right? So this is how a data set under cup method looks like. I hope this clarifies. Now I'll just move ahead. Now how a comparable data set under the other method looks like. Now we saw cup, we saw RPM, we saw TNMM, right? Now how the comparable data set under other method looks like. Now if you see here, this data set basically pertains to the list of ECBs which has been availed by various borrowers, and as you can see there are also other terms and conditions which has been written here, like maturity period, interest rate, then what was the ECB amount and what is the basis points, right? So this is how under other method, if the ECB transaction has been benchmarked, then the data set will look like in this manner. In your case, see, these are just examples of data set, that how it looks like under each and every method. You may devise your own data set, but yes, it should capture all the relevant points which are necessary for arriving at arm's length price, as also it should also capture the arm's length price as well, right? So that is where you have a comparable data set, right? The data which you can compare with your transfer price. I'll catch you in the next video where I am going to explain the provisions which regulates the analysis of data set under the Income Tax Act. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.